What is going on, everyone? My name is Boit and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology action. If you can't tell by the title, this is not going to be a shoutcast. I'm going to be running over a Zeus versus Oranos guide because I'm sick of seeing lower level players not really executing and having a hard time with Oranos. I want there basically to be less Oranos plays in general in the 1800 area and more people who can deal with them and start making the game a little bit more skilled, because the problem and the actual fact of the matter is that our Oranos and all Atlantean gods are actually quite unfun to play against, because you have to play around their weaknesses rather than around your strengths, if that makes any sense. I don't know, I just don't enjoy playing against them. So I'm going to go through this record game. It's going to help me, it's going to help you. Also, while watching these, while watching these things, I want to stress that you guys can do this yourself. Go over to rtssanctuary.com, download the latest 1800 plus extended edition replays, or the old expert replays on the Titans, and watch those matchups that you're having trouble with, and hopefully what we'll get out of this is going to be more than just what you do against Zeus. What you do against Oranos as Zeus. It's going to be information into how to also watch replays on your own and dissect the information that's in them. So let's just jump right into the game. It is a game between the Mista and TSM Sensei. I think that's how you say it. It's on Marsh, so it's a very high hunt map. And I think that this is an important thing to note. Because it's a high hunt map, it means that both players should be as crisp as possible. Everything in that early game build order should be as good as it can get. So you'll watch these games for the perfect build order. Not for like really much else, because if you play and you match up against an Oranos player on Oasis, for example, and you try and do this build order, it's going to be a little bit difficult, but you get the general gist, and you need to create a template from it and work that out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up Notepad. This is something that Day9 always does, and I'm going to start making some notes. So at the start, he sends 5 villages to wood, food, and I think he got hunting dogs. He did get hunting dogs. Okay, and now he's sending some villages over to wood. So we wait to see how many there. Go wood. It's got 3, I think. 3 villages makes the most sense. I'm just doing this a bit ahead because that's what I think is going on. As that queued up, he's going to send that over to here. I want you to also note that the most efficient way for these gatherers to get wood into there is to have one on this tree, one on this tree, and one on this tree. That tree there is a little bit inefficient. It's actually okay for this villager because there's no walking time, but you could use that tree later, I suppose. This tree just seems a bit closer. Anyways, now I'm going to send some villagers to gold so we can start working out how many are there. Let's just run to gold. I think from memory he puts 2 villages here. See, he needs a chocolate house as well. If he does that. Also, one thing to note is these villages need to be at a good distance between the gold mine and the storehouse. You want to build your storehouse slightly off the gold mine so you can squeeze extra villages in along the long side. You can squeeze in about 5 or 6 inside this long side to get no walking time at all. And yes, he did put only 2 villages to gold, 2 villages to gold, and then he sent 1 villager to food, 1 villager house. You can see he's also managing to kill off deer water buffalo as well. He's trying to make these guys as efficient as possible. So he's going to have a lot of income off the food resource. There's a little bit of walking time there, but you can only do that. And villager from their house goes to food. Another villager to food. Right, just going to keep on putting villagers to food. So at this point, we go plus villagers to food until, and we find out when he's got the next part of his plan. I think he's going to chuck a temple up now because he has the resources for it, but we'll see. Putting that extra villager on food. No, just going to put that one up. So it's until 9 on food, and then we put 1 bill temple, and plus villagers food until. I think that's a good way to do it, rather than actually constantly keeping track of where your villagers are and how many are going into each resource and all that other stuff. You get so you just put another villager on there. So 1 villager to food, 1 villager to wood, transfer 1 villager to temple for favor gathering. Total of 2 villagers on favor. Well, what's he doing? No, he's still got 2 villagers on favor, so that's something not to get confused about. He just shifted some over here for the efficiency. And now what we need to do is we've hit the advance button. We're going through Hermes. We built a Jason and then Hermes. Now we pause the video here on the replay. You can see he's got 2 villages on gold, 9 villages on wood, 5 villages on food, and 2 villages on favor. I feel like the easiest way to work this out is to see how many villages you need to chuck onto wood. Is to say, I think wood's going to be the primary resource in this video because I've seen it. This replay. So I'm going to say the easiest way to work it out is to say, well, you can either say 9 villages to wood or 5 villages on food. Now probably the 9 villages on food, rest on wood. I think the most sense here is the latter of the two, because if you were to have built an extra villager, we have 10 villages on wood, and we're going to be able to see, if we continue watching, which one makes more sense by what he does afterwards when he hits the classical age. Anyways, we see scouting and all this other good stuff. We don't really need to pay attention to that. This Jason's not really important. He's probably just going to grab some relics or put some pressure on, but we're really interested in the economy side of things here, the early game, just trying to work out exactly what is going on in Mista's head. Plays this out. He does chuck up a house, so on advance house by wood villager. That's important. You don't want to use your favor villager because he needs the favor from them. You don't want to use the food villagers because he's got so few on there. Uses the wood villager because it makes the most sense. I actually think that even gold villager would make more sense than that. Has he got hand axe? Has he got pickaxe? Like he hasn't researched either of those. It's a bit surprising considering how many resources he's got. Husbandry, and also research husbandry. Important. Husbandry is a really good upgrade. It basically halves your walking time, so doubles your income. Not doubles your income, but makes your income a hell of a lot quicker. The Jason going to be attempting to pick off the citizen. Really nice use of the Jason there. Sorry, the Jason picking off the Promethean. Really good use. Going to come over here and try and pick off the citizen as well. Not really important. It's just a little bit of harassment that he's managing to do. He does build a center, and if we look, we can see he's building an Odysseus as well. So if we pause the video here, on advance, this is what we do. We say on advance, we chuck up a stable. Wood villager does this. We build Odysseus. That's not how you spell Odysseus, is it? O-D-Y-S-S. Odysseus, and we build a center. This is the ordering that he does it in. This is a good way to do it. There's obviously different ways to do it. He's also sent his centaur forward. But again, we're not really too worried about what he does with his army. We're more worried about the economic standpoint. Because if we play economically efficient, then we're better than 80% of the other players playing AOM. So just continue to work this out. And he auto queues, or he builds Hippicon. Now, he's not building another centaur. You note that there he has the resources to do so, and he hasn't yet built it. So he's obviously saving his favor up and wood for the upgrade for the centaur. I mean, that's not that obvious, but it makes sense to me. And here we go. I'm going to pause the video again. You can see he's actually putting villages to wood. So if this game were to have happened differently in the early game, we would have noted that 5 villages on food was how many he was happy to have, and then he wanted more on wood. So we're going to get rid of 9 villages. We're going to get rid of this. Put 5 villages on food, rest on wood. And I'll put in brackets 2 on gold. Even though he has 3 now, I'm not sure where that came from. It's not exactly important. Getting that 3rd villager onto the gold mine for the stable probably makes sense. So he probably just moved a villager off wood. It makes sense. So yeah. Maybe 2/3 on gold. I think putting that villager on gold is a smart idea. Also, hand axe is probably going to maybe not get researched. Let's just ignore that hand axe hasn't been researched just yet. That might have been a mistake. I actually think it is. And he stopped building Hippicons. He only built the 1 Hippicon. I'm not 100% sure on that. There we go. He is researching Sylvan Law. So after that centaur, put a little arrow. That means after, and it says Sylvan Law. So now we're gonna have the faster centaurs to do the raiding a little bit more efficiently. He's just scouting around with the centaur, trying to find stuff and pick off things. Okay, so after 10 villages on wood, where does he start going? So this is further on. After 10 villages, wood. Oh, wait. On advance, plus villages to wood until 10 villas on wood, and then plus villages to gold until dot. We don't know yet. That's the next step we have to figure out. We're going to ignore this fighting. It's not important. We really want to know what he does with his army. He's still auto-queuing these. He's not auto-queuing the Hippicon, but he's pretty much auto-queuing them. He still doesn't have hand axe. I'm really interested to see when he starts getting those upgrades. I think he's got the resources to do so, so I'm going to make the assumption that he probably forgot about them. I don't know why. What a bad recorded game to use. Oh well. I'm gonna make a note and say up here, and this is something you need to do yourself. You need to make a note when you see something you don't agree with. Advanced homies. When you see something you don't agree with, you want to say it. You want to say what is going on. On advance, house fire, wood village, research husbandry. Why not research hand axe? Why not research hand axe? You have the resources. It's probably better. So you're going to say test it and see what changes, right? Also, we need to say when is pickaxe good to research, because I believe it's around now. When you start plussing villages to gold, I think this makes the most sense. Pickaxe now, question mark. These are all testing things to improve on what you're seeing. It's not exactly important to do so. You can really just copy what he's doing and be in a really good spot. But if you're always questioning what someone's doing, you're going to get better a lot quicker, because you're going to start understanding why someone's doing something rather than just blindly following it. So it is auto-queuing centaur after Sylvan Law, and then we say AQ centaur. Well, he's not doing it, but he pretty much is. Looks like he's not actually using auto-queue on anything but the villages. And it looks like a temple from gold villages. Okay, So he has 8 villages on gold. Until 8 villages, then town center. He's got 3 centaur, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, yep. So that's something else. That's another sort of what do you call it? It's another landmark you can have in the back of your mind. After 3 centaurs, we build our town center. It didn't auto queue the centaurs for a purpose, so we removed that. I thought he was going to auto queue them. I was very wrong. So always adjusting what you think. I think it's also really important to try and get in ahead of the player you're watching, instead of just actively watching, instead of just sort of not actively watching the game. Instead of passively watching the game and and just copying, you can actively try and guess what's going to happen, and if you're wrong, so why not do that then? For me, why not continue to auto queue centaur, or you're going to fall behind economically because you're not getting this early second town center, and that's good. And we can also say that he then goes plus villages to food on the herdables until already got like 10 villages on food now. Just chucking up a military barracks, military academy. The military academy at this point, it's probably around after, we'll probably call it wild town center building. That seems like a good landmark. So he's got the centaur building, he's got the Hippicon building and the hoplite building. So we're going to say at this point hoplite and centaur AQ. He's plussing villages to gold. So you can see this is very needy, like based on when he wants these resources is when he does it. So until he has, it's like, I don't know, until the town center is built, I think we'll go with that. Until TC finish, then plus villages gold. And the villagers that built the town center went over to wood and farms. So we can say that that's a viable thing. We can go when TC finish, villages to wood and food. Farms, question mark. Farms aren't necessarily the best thing. If there was hunt here, I would pick the hunt up instead of the farms. The reason why farms are good at this stage is because the walking distance over here isn't really worth it. From the second town center, he's plussing villages to wood, not to food. So if we pause the video again, we go and plus second TC vills to food. And that makes the most sense because you need once you build 2 town centers, you need to support military barracks, stable, and 2 town centers worth of food. That is roughly math is 150, 180-ish, 190-ish food every 15-ish seconds. And yeah, he's got no upgrades still, and we should say at this point, because farms, why not plow? I think he just doesn't have the resources yet for plow because he's auto queuing these, but we need to keep that in the back of our mind. At this stage, this recorded game is kind of losing value because we need to stray away from the build order, right? At this point he's said, I've gotten the 2 town centers, I haven't really lost any units, but let's say that Sensei was putting on a little bit more pressure and he was losing some units and he had to sort of adapt. Instead of putting all of these 21 villages on food, you probably would have needed more villages on gold. So I feel like now is a good time to stop watching this recorder game and review what we've looked at. So this is the archaic age here, so let's neaten this up a little bit. We've got 5 villages on the starting food, we had 3 villages to wood, 2 villages to gold, and then we had a little bit of villages to food sort of stuff. So if we were to figure out a template for the classical age, for the archaic age without thinking about it too much, so we make a template. This makes it super easy to remember stuff. Right. So our goal 1, 5, 3, 2, right? That is food, wood, gold, and then we go rest, food, till, advance. In this thing, lots of stuff happens. We have houses go up, we have temples go up, we have everything like that. However, the information in the statements that I've just put here incorporate the fact you need to put houses down, otherwise you'll get pop clapped. You need to get a temple down, otherwise you will not be able to advance. The only thing I hadn't put down is hunting dogs, so let's add hunting dogs. We'll put goal 1, hunting dogs, as a priority because we don't want to forget it ever, and also rest food till advance, and then also husbandry and hand axe, and then hand axe. So this is after he advanced. We say these are here, and then we go. Our general gist is 5. I want to put some sort of number here which isn't 9 because that's not necessarily what's going to happen every single game. So we put rest and 2. It was 3, wasn't it? So we'll put 3. So this means 5 rest 3 means what does it mean? It means that when we advance to the classical age, we need to shift our villages around to form this composition and to favor. Now we look back up here. What else did we miss? I didn't get pickaxe. That's fine. On advance. Okay, so we need to go classical age. Let's just call this archaic age instead of goal 1, because these are all goals in themselves. So we need our first goal is to get hunting dogs. The second goal is to hit this. Our third goal is to hit this, and then and while we're advancing is this goal. So there's lots of goals in there, and we'll just go like this. We'll go classical age. Where are we at? We need to get stable up with our wood village. We won't say wood villager because that's not exactly relevant. We can say stable, comma, Odysseus, Centaur, Sylvan Law, Elgus. It's not necessarily important the ordering, I don't think, of the centaurs. So if we say 2 centaurs, or we call it 3 because you get a free one, 3 centaur and Sylvan Law, I think that's good. And now we say we need 10 bills on wood. That's our next goal. 8 vills gold, or until town center, or until a Ford town center. I think that's important. Gold villages build that town center. That's kind of insinuated by that. And when the town center goes up, we start putting village wild, and then we say villages to food. And it's kind of done here, but also we need to say villages to food, military, academy, and AQ, hoplite, and centaur, then villages to gold to support those. There's yada yada yada. That's all kind of makes sense. So there we go. This is our template. This is our in-depth stuff. We're done with that recorded game, and what we need to do is, now we've got a very strong understanding of the economic side of this strategy in the early stages of the game, which is important. We got the 2 town centers up, we got the military barracks, we got the stable, we got some army, and I think side note is he was very aggressive raiding, but not pushing anywhere. So he's defending with these dudes. He's not really doing anything else. And then you just need to practice. You just need to go into a game, single player, or just jump right into a ranked game, or do whatever you want, whatever works for you the best in order to nail this early game. And once you can nail the early game, you're ready to just start molding that into your own style, and you start getting really good at the game, all that other stuff. So let's try the next Zeus vs Oranos game I've got. Again, it's a fairly high hunt, and I've grabbed these high hunt games on purpose. It's because it's best to know the most efficient thing if you have the best resources possible. You can always make exceptions if there's less stuff, but you can't make it better than the best, if that makes any sense. Anyways, now we've got this little overview here. Let's see how different it changes in this game, and if it's the same or if it's not. If it's different, then we know there's things that we need to be aware of while doing this strategy, as well as all that other stuff that's important. I think the first thing we're going to see is different because this hunt is more aggressive than normal. We're going to see 6 villages on it instead of 5. It's not actually necessary to change it at all here, I don't think. It's fine because 5 villages, 6 villages doesn't matter too much in terms of the schemes of things. Still sort of aiming for this template here, whereas at 5, 3, 2, or like the rest food till advanced with like 3 villages on wood and 2 villages on gold. But it's really, again, this is the goal right here. This is our first real big goal, is to go into the classical age with husbandry, with hand axe, with this composition of economy. So I kind of want to skip over this and like not even watch it, and then pause the game when he's advancing just to see what the difference is, if there is any difference, to see how pinpoint this has been, how bad it's been. So he's done something a little bit different here. He's put 1 villager to wood, 1 villager to gold. But what's changed? Nothing. Nothing's really changed here. I don't think that this is good. And he's also even taken a villager off to food to put it over to wood, because he needed that extra wood to get the house up earlier. And I was going to say, I don't think that putting down 2 storehouses right away is necessarily a good thing or a bad thing. I think that it's kind of odd, to say the least, just because there's no rush to get this gold mine happening. But that being said, if you're chucking the 2 storehouses up individually, there's no chance that you're going to send villagers back to the town center to like have that awkward moment when you've like got idle town, you got that awkward moment when your villager starts walking back to the town center when he has a full load before the storehouse is finished, and he's like here, he's like moved back into this spot, and the storehouse already goes up, and he's like already over here, and it's lagging, and like, oh no, click back. But yeah. Okay, so the other thing is that he's going to get this gold income really quickly, so I might get that early temple up, which should be good. But he might not have the wood. Also, this village has stopped wood cutting, so he's going to be a little bit delayed on that. So this strategy seems like it's a lot more aggressive, but it's still the same concept. He's still putting a lot of villages on food. He's got all of this happening. I'm going to speed this up a little bit just to see what happens. So he's got 10 villages on food, 2 villages on wood, 2 villages on gold, temple going up. Pretty standard. 2 villages here now on that temple, so we're still aiming for that same sort of thing. Again, chopping the wood down, all that other good stuff. He's advancing through Hermes, got Jason out. He's got 6 villages on food at this point. He's got 2 villages on favor, and he's got 2 villages on the gold. Now, this actually no, he's got 5 villages. There we go. He fixes it up. So it's definitely 5 villages is his thing. He even fixed. He's even going for 4 villages here because he advanced a little bit quickly. So maybe it is 9. But then What happens if he doesn't advance so quickly? But that's the idea. That's the point of this strategy, is to advance so quickly. So let's see if he takes hunting dogs, if he takes husbandry. He's bought husbandry, so it's definitely at. So let's change this. We've been wrong. Go with 9,3, and we go with the rest. It pains me to say that, but it looks like that's the standard. It's kind of like 4 min though, like rest but min 4. Yeah, that makes most sense. Like if you advanced even faster than this, like 1 villager early, not that it's really possible, but yeah, he still doesn't build the hand axe. That's really, really curious. I feel like it would be better if he did. Gets the second centaur out straight away. And let's just look at where he's sending villages. He didn't get his Odysseus out. He wants to get the Sylvan Law apparently as fast as possible. Gets the Sylvan Law, doesn't get the Odysseus. A little bit curious there. Doesn't matter too much. And he's going to auto queue villages. And we'll just, I keep on moving the screen around. I'm sorry. We'll just see exactly what he does with these. He's getting his stable up. Get some more villages to come out. They're going over to the gold mine. He hasn't really put many villages back over to wood. Not really caring. He's not producing any more of those. He's walling up this location. We'll see exactly when he builds that second town center. He's chucking up a military barracks. So he's playing this game a little bit differently than the first one. I think it might be to do with the map. He's got 11 villages on wood. And looks like he's pumping villages to... Looks like he's got the auto queue on. So this is a little bit different, a little bit less boomy. Looks like because the map's a little bit more open, you can't grab this town center so early. So that's something we need to know. Template for closed eye hunt map. Now, because the archaic age was very similar, let's just change this to template for... I'm going to pause this again so I don't miss out on too much. Template for open high hunt map. Why not? Differences. Not much, really. He didn't put 10 villages on wood. He's got 11 on it now, though. And he's also got all these dudes over here. He's got hand axe, he's got pickaxe. He's got these villages on the gold mine at the moment, so he's got 8. And now he's pumping villages to what looks like... food? To gold still. Okay. So we'll just call it a template of like an 8, 10, 10 or something like that. Like we're aiming for 8 villages food, 10 wood, and 10 gold. And we're auto queuing AQ, Hoplite, and Hip Econ. Alright, that's pretty simple. He's chucking up more military barracks because he can. Have houses and all that other good stuff. We'll just continue to see what happens here with the villages. He's continuously building these villages over the gold. He's taking a lot of those villages off gold now, put them over to food. So I think he overdid it. He overdid it there. He's continuously building villages to food at the moment. His gold income stays pretty safe around that 6 mark. And we'll just say for a final little bit, we're not aiming for that, we're aiming more for a 6 gold spot, and then we say rest on food. So we've got food, wood, and gold. We got two barracks and a stable. We'll call it 2 racks, 1 stable. And I think that's all we need to go through, really. I think when we see that next town center going up, we'll go 115 population, 115 or 115 pop, second TC go. I think that's pretty much this sort of style gathered for the early stages of the game. And hopefully this video didn't go for too long and you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, please rate, comment, subscribe, and tell me that you liked it, basically. and you want to see more, because I'm really happy to do more of these. If you don't, I'll just go back to shoutcasting, and I'll just do that. So that's cool. And yes, please also do this yourself. Like, don't just wait for me to do them. Do them yourself and see if you can do it. The more you do it, the better you get at it, basically. Oh yeah, and we'll say definitely hand axe and pickaxe are important. Okay, that's that, and we're done. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.